fallout surrounding a popular children's show, Arthur. Alabama Public Television refusing to air a recent episode featuring a same-sex marriage. Paula Ferris has more on that story for us. Good morning, Paula.
Good morning, Robin. The episode aired nationally last week, except in Alabama, where it was preempted with a rerun. And this morning, Alabama Public Television is defending its decision.
And I say, hey!
This morning, cartoon controversy after Alabama Public Television refused to air the premiere episode of the hit children's series Arthur, which depicted a same-sex wedding of one of its most popular characters.
Who's getting married?
Me.
In the episode, Mr. Ratburn, Arthur's teacher, was seen walking down the aisle with his aardvark partner.
Mr. Ratburn is married. I still can't believe it.
Yep, it's a brand new world.
The episode, part of Arthur's 22nd season, already aired on PBS stations nationally, but kids in Alabama will have to find it elsewhere. Mike McKenzie, director of programming of Alabama Public Television, tells AL.com, although we strongly encourage parents to watch television with their children and talk about what they have learned afterwards.
Well, our kids are facing pressures like never before, and it's taking a serious toll. Youth suicide rates are on the rise in the U.S., now the second leading cause of death for people as young as 10. Gordon Severson explains what's likely behind the increase and why parents of young girls should be especially concerned.
As young as, 10 years old, and that's a scary thought.
For Brainerd native Eric Hopajoki, the issue of teen suicide is more than just a scary thought. It's real.
We had known he'd been struggling, with some depression.
Last year, his 16-year-old son Jake took his own life, a hurt he still feels to this day. How often do you think about Jake?
Probably.
Ford has developed a new delivery robot. They actually call it Digit. 2 legs, walks like a human, capable of lifting packages that weigh up to 40 pounds. Come on in, Ken Washington, Ford's Chief Technology Officer. All right, Ken, we've got some excellent video of this thing. When are we going to see it in reality, in real time in America?
Well, it's too early to say when it will actually show up at your doorstep, but one thing's for certain is that we're working on solving the challenges that need to be addressed in order for this to become a reality. We're super excited about this research project with our partner Agility Robotics.
Talk about changing times, even as some American communities are bucking the trend toward stores that don't take cash. Mark Phillips tells us there's already a country that hardly uses it at all.
They've been singing about it for years.
and making truckloads of it along the way.
Money, 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 must be funny in the rich man's world.
But now ABBA is in the vanguard of a new wave in Sweden where there's no money, money, money. Just cards, 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 and phones, phones, phones. Just ask Uva and Marita Mattsson, trying to have a quiet lunch until we showed up.
The last time you actually used cash?
A month ago maybe or something.
Which is typical. Last year, only 13%.
Matter of fact, we're still scratching around here. You've probably also noticed this that has a lot of Americans scratching their heads when they see it. How many police officers in our cities have started dressing less like police officers and more like soldiers? You've seen them, right? Right? Officer Friendly is starting to look more like Commando Joe in America. Not only that, but military officials are now getting equipment, and you know what they do with their old equipment from the military? They pack it up and send it to the United States, and police departments take it. They ship it to police departments who use it and then say, well, don't worry, we'll find a use for it. After all, it's generally free, right? In that sense, with police not only sending, vehicles, but also sophisticated military intel gathering equipment and techniques. In other words, the same techniques they use on people overseas, supposed to be used against our war enemies, not against us. This is why this gets a little controversial. News with Rick Sanchez.
Intelligence. So let's say you're a cop looking for an Asian woman in green shorts. That's your suspect.
Right.
You will get results faster. It'll only show you the Asian women in green shorts that were at the scene at the time. So another thing these systems do is that these cameras learn the normal motion activity of a scene, and then if someone does something quote unquote unusual, it flags the activity. And these anomaly detections are already being used in police departments.
Now, is that what we're seeing?
That's
what we have these.
That's correct.
So those little letters that we're seeing up there is a definition or a focusing in of something in particular.
Exactly. So it maps out all the activity on a certain street corner, in a certain public square, whatever. And if something is irregular, it calls attention to it.
Let me say something, because I think the persons who are watching us right now would think, look, if it helps them do their police work better. Right. And now this. Have you ever thought of how often you Google things? This noun that suddenly turned into a verb is as much a part of our lives as just about anything we use or ever come in contact today. And it's good, right? Hey, think about it. It's useful, saves us a ton of time, and because we learned from it, stuff we never knew. Boom, Google, there it is. Now,
Syria. So first, let's take a look at Google. CNN, of course, is the first search result. It's a news story. And then this first actual search result comes from Wikipedia, where it explains, the Syrian so-called civil war.
It can happen in any of three different ways. One is that a top executive literally just types in a couple of commands on a laptop. A second way to do it, a rogue employee. Third possibility, though, Larry, is the scariest one, and that is the algorithm itself could literally be favoring candidates, and we know that already happens. Google has the power, whether they're exercising it deliberately or not is beside the point. They have the power to determine the outcomes of upwards of 25% of the national elections in the world. And remember, there's no other search company in most countries. About 90% of search is done on this one search engine run by this one company.